listening to the Los Rotos Podcast with Vanessa Scaduto. Produced by Upside Down Creative Media. Bienvenido a Los Rotos Podcast. No.
Reportando en vivo de Jacksonville, Florida. No,
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville.
Oye, Jacksonville, ¿qué te estás haciendo, Jacksonville? Bienvenido. No, welcome to Los Rotos Podcast. I'm really excited today. You want to be called Doctora? No, yeah.
Doctora, you can call me Doctora, yeah.
Yeah, Doctora Ana Lepeley here with me.
Which camera should I look at?
So that camera is for your one shot. This is a wide shot, and they're close up. So that's shot on me. So that's your camera.
Okay. Hey.
Well, welcome. Where are you coming from, though? You drove from Orlando, right?
Yeah, I actually was in Miami for a period of time, doing a lot of shows back to back.
Yeah. What's up, 305?
I love Miami. Miami is where I spent a lot of my younger years, and being Cuban, it's really good to be there because there aren't very many Latin people here in Jacksonville. So you get to do a lot of comedy down in South Florida, and I started recently doing music open mics.
Okay.
So I'm getting over the fear of playing music in front of people. I don't get nervous with comedy, but I want to get over the fear of playing music. So now I'm doing music open mics up there on occasion. And then I had a drag comedy show in Orlando, and then drove straight up here the other night.
Well, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
I've wanted you on for a while. It's really hard too. We've had a meat fest, and I mean that by dudes in the last episodes, and in the nicest way. But
we have a very nice meat fest in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
very
we do.
Nice.
They're wonderful. They're wonderful. But I would prefer to also showcase some of the women.
Clams. Got it. Yeah. You want clams and meat. I got it.
Yeah, clams and beans maybe. That's,
clams and beans.
Well, shoot, black beans in particular. No, but it's hard because I was just expressing to another comic, a male comic, obviously, that I know there's more women comics. It's just they're not always coming to all the open mics, and I would love to see more of them.
Yeah.
But you're lucky though. You missed a new female comic on the scene at Voussoir. That was
masturbating on stage?
No, She just started yelling at the host for not telling her the rules because he lit her and told her to get off stage, and she wouldn't get off stage. So
cool. I wish I was there. Actually,
yeah, he was so great.
Yeah.
What was so great though is I opened up with telling her that you're not going to be told the rules. That was actually a courtesy to the audience. Man. Yeah, I know. I did the whole therapy mother shit. And then, of course, my buddy Jake got on after me, and he's like, oh, look at Vanessa just tearing her apart. And I was like, but here's the thing. The other comics were like, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, because it's not about female or male in that case. It's the fact that some people come to open mics.
Right.
And some people who don't do comedy, but they feel like they want to do comedy, feel so incredibly entitled at these open mics. Like, I could do this. Or there are people that come to shows and they're like, I could do this is a breeze. And those are the people who end up heckling. And truth be told, they're pieces of shit. And I mean, they really need to learn the rules, and they need to have some humility.
Amen.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, I just told her, I was like, hey, listen, just a heads up. No mic is going to tell you what the rules are. You need to go up to the host and ask them, taking personal responsibility, like what adults do.
Yeah.
And also, if you're trying to get into comedy, why didn't you research what that actually means?
Oh, God forbid.
I mean, there's so many podcasts now with comedians out there who tell you what to do almost YouTube channels. I mean, there's no excuse.
Yeah. And you just watch, and you just go to the mic and you watch it. You kind of watch, or you ask somebody like, hey, how does this work? What do I do when I get on the stage?
Right.
But you're still going to have assholes every now and then. And, no matter where you are in comedy, going to an open mic is so incredibly necessary. But you're still going to have assholes up there that feel like they should drop the mic, that feel like they should be just complete assholes on and off the stage. So it's just part of it.
Oh God, it's bad. It was
I
bad.
wish I was there.
Oh, it was so bad. But she ended up adding Jake and not me, but that's okay. I got a real comic to add me who opens up for Bobby Kelly anyways, the same day.
Is that a famous comic?
Bobby Kelly, yeah. Bobby Kelly, he's a New York comic.
Okay.
He used to be on the show with Louis C.K. when he had the show Louis. Yeah. He played his brother. So I don't know if you've heard of this comic, KP Burke.
I love KP. KP did my drag show.
Yeah, so KP was here in Jacksonville.
Oh, that's right. When I was out of town.
Yes, and you were out of town. So KP, I met him and he came up and he's like, hey man, and my set was okay at Rain Dogs. It wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But he was like, I like that joke. I do a joke based off of Roadhead and whatever. Anyway. And I was like, yeah, man, I made a joke too when I got on there because everybody was acting like they should be on KP's dick. And I said something about it and he thought that was hilarious.
So KP's a big deal.
Yeah, I guess he is now. I love KP.
I mean,
I guess he is now. I don't know him, but yeah, no. But he was great. He's a great person. Like he was funny. He was hilarious.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah.
So just a quick thing, being a comedian, I don't know who any famous comics are. So I can't tell you how often I'll be talking with comics and just, you know how when people find out you're a comedian, like, oh, I like this person. I go, hey, listen, I don't know who that is. And I'm holding groceries. I got to go. Because usually it's like a civilian, like a non-comic wants to talk to you about comedy. You're like, I got to go. But I only know who people I've shared the stage with are.
Okay.
So, KP, I met him because I had done my Comedians and Drag Dude comedy show in downtown Jacksonville.
Which is a great show. You guys should check it out wherever she's at. No, seriously, it's a fun time. And you can go to my Instagram and look at pictures I've taken from those shows. Anyway.
and I have highlights of it. I'm going to be better about posting recaps of the show because it is my baby. I invented the show.
It's super fun. It's really fun. Yeah.
I host and produce it. And I had it in Jacksonville a year ago. And Marcus Crespo goes, hey, there's this guy, he's from New Jersey, you should put him on your show. And I took, Marcus Crespo, I'm very close to them. I took his word for it. I put KP on. Man, that guy was like Andrew Dice Clay in a dress.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So he was incredible, such a humble guy, so incredibly talented. And I'm bringing my drag show to the Northeast and I'm trying to get him on again to do it. So
for sure.
It's tough. He's got a busy schedule.
Yeah, now that he's, I guess, featuring, that's great. When they told me Bobby Kelly, I was like, oh, I love Bobby Kelly. I'm a nerd for comedy. So, but I do know what you're saying. When people find out I do stand-up, they like to throw out, not actual stand-ups though, like famous. They throw out like Facebook comedy people. Do you know what I mean? Like the alt comedy. Like, I don't want to say any names, but they'll be like, do you know? And it's all like Facebook celebrities kind of status. And I'm like, those people are only doing shows now because of their videos on Facebook. Not that they actually went to open mics and built up.
Oh, yeah. They didn't suffer at a place,
Yeah. Oh, God, it's a lot.
Are you talking also about like TikTok people that get famous?
That's true, too. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have the talent, though, because there's going to be stuff like Bo Burnham. Like, that guy was, YouTube famous first before he did his stand-up stuff?
Okay.
At least that's what I'm thinking. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But he's freaking hilarious, when he does his music and he incorporates comedy with his music. But not everybody has that skill set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everybody can be Flight of the Conchords. Okay. But let's talk more about you though, because I want to know. I want you to let people know because I do know some of your history, but like where you're originally from, how you got into stand-up, things like that.
Am I positioned good?
You are positioned good, and that's the camera.
I'm in the missionary position.
That's the camera. That's your one shot. That's the wide shot.
Missionary. Okay. How I got into comedy, I got a PhD many years ago, and I used to give lectures at academic conferences. And I was banned from one of these organizations because
not you. Not you.
I was giving a seminar. I think I was talking at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. It's like a big
it's pretty big
expo. It's bodybuilding, every sport under the sun. And then there's like if you go upstairs, there's like a academic conferences where people go to get their continuing education credits. So I was giving a lecture for one of the organizations there, the sports nutrition, strength and conditioning organizations. And I gave a lecture on how to naturally manipulate testosterone levels, which is what I wrote my first book on. If you don't mind, I want to plug it.
No, I was going to say, please let them know what your book is.
Yeah. So I originally specialized in testosterone and like things that can negatively affect your natural testosterone production. So I wrote my first book on that.
Hold on, give it to me. I'm gonna do more of a headshot just in case, and then Marshall can zoom in later. Just so, because it was down here, but I want to make sure they can see it. Okay, great.
Yeah, so I was giving a lecture on it, and I thought it would be so funny to make fun of politicians and religion, because I was kind of like, I grew up listening to Howard Stern, a lot of Howard Stern. Like,
Same.
I never watched comedy. I know about Joan Rivers and Chelsea Handler, but I never got into watching comedy. I have a very short attention span. But I was very inspired by those three, Howard Stern, Joan Rivers, and Chelsea Handler. And I was giving a lecture at this conference, and they were like, one of my close colleagues was like, hey, they're not going to ever invite you to speak there again because you were quite offensive. But I was like, okay, but everybody in there was laughing and having a good time, right? He's like, yes. I go, in all the other lectures I went into, they were sleeping. People fall asleep because the lectures are so boring.
Right.
So I realized that when you teach science, you have to make it interesting. And then I became a college professor, and I started doing corporate wellness gigs. But I started to lose those gigs because over the years, I started comedy about a couple months after I finished my doctorate, because I had trouble finding work because I either had too much experience or too little experience. And they would say to me, well, we need you to have 10 years experience. And I'm like, 10 years ago, I was drinking cheap vodka in an FIU dorm room in Miami, Florida. I go, 10 years, I don't have the age to even have that.
Right.
So I started comedy, and then I had to quit it for 2 years. I had a surgery that I was unable to tend to comedy, but then I came back. And then shortly after, I invented my drag comedy show. But it's comedians in drag doing comedy. And I used to host it with another guy who I found out shortly after co-hosting it with him that the only reason he liked doing the show is he liked dressing as a woman.
Oh,
that was a straight guy.
Yeah.
But
slight kink there.
Yeah, and because he didn't do any work. I realized I invented the show. I was doing all the work. I was booking all the venues, and after a show, he'd be like, "Can we take a break for like a couple months?" I said, "No, this is my show. I want to keep doing it." And then I realized he really just liked doing it because he liked dressing as a woman. So I took the show on myself. It was much better that way.
Right.
And then I went from there. But I started losing a lot of doctoral, nutrition type work because of how I look, which sucks because I'm really good at teaching nutrition things. I wrote my second book on the health benefits of moderate consumption of beer and alcohol. I had been presenting that. If I had a booking manager, I probably could get it out on the road again. But corporate America and academia do not like people that look like me for the most part.
Right.
So
would you go to presentations just
No, not like this. No,
yeah,
no.
You would probably
I wear a button-up shirt.
Yeah,
I don't wear a hat.
Right.
Very presentable. But the thing is, because I'm not a typical female looking, it's just,
How long ago was that though? Because I'm wondering if it would have, if certain states are different than others. You know what I mean?
If I went to Seattle, they would love it. They'd be like, "What are you? Come on in."
Yeah, probably Austin, Texas would be cool.
I presented in Austin. I had a really good time. I did a nerd night event there. It was a big venue. Had a packed room there. So I would try Austin again. There's probably places that I should specifically look for. It's just I'm putting all my energy into booking this comedians and drag doing comedy show. But I think if I were able to get a booking manager, I would still do this beer seminar because I love science.
So do you want a booking manager?
For that, yes. Not the drag show. I like that all on my own.
But
for the beer seminar, yeah, I would love it. And they'd make a lot of money because if at conferences, I get paid a decent amount of money. So if anyone's out there that wants to...
Well, explain, though, what that means, though, because you haven't explained that the second book, right, that you wrote, that with the beer...
Beer is good for you, yeah. So that book is on the health benefits of moderate consumption of beer and alcohol.
Moderate.
Because the problem is I can't tell you how many times I'll be out at a bar and I have straight up alcoholics that are like, "Oh yeah, I love this book." I'm like, yeah, okay, listen, the book is strictly says moderate. It's like all over the book because it's legitimately based off peer-reviewed human experimental design research. It's just, it's not studies that have been done on rats. If I had utilized studies that were done on animals, the book would have been this big.
Right.
But I had to, a couple things I wanted to do with the book. I wanted to make it easy to read if you were drunk and or masturbating. So I made the book easy to read, and I took really technical science and I just dumbed it down, put pictures of me in there and put pictures in there. And I basically only highlighted studies that were done on human subjects. And the majority of those studies are out of Europe because in the US, it's super taboo.
Right.
There are some phenomenal researchers here that are researching alcohol. But if you want to go to the real deal shit, it's in Europe, Spain, Czech Republic, Germany, France.
They do all the psychedelic stuff too over there that we are weird about over here too. Yeah,
they're taking humans in Spain and they get them drunk and they compare it and they look at the antioxidant benefits, bone, how it increases bone mineral density. So I made that book specifically on that. But in every single chapter of whatever health benefit it may be, I put a fine print. I think it legit says fine print. There's like a section at the end of each chapter and it says, if you exceed moderation, research has shown that you're basically negating these health benefits and making it way worse.
So what is considered moderation? Because usually when you go to the doctor and they're like, do you consume 2 to 3 drinks a week or do you? And I'm like, I consume 1. And we all know that's not true. But I mean, it can be true. If I don't have a mic, I'm probably not drinking. I do go to mics and I have a couple drinks. I've gotten better, where I'm just like, I'm going to be here for probably 5 hours before I go up. I probably should pace myself.
Comedy is...
I need to pace myself.
Yeah, I think, and I would like to talk about that next after I tell you about moderation, but I think comedy is just, it's a fascinating world because I don't drink, actually. I drink a couple times a year. I've never drank before doing comedy. And I had my first drink on stage the other day having my drag show at the Miami Improv, and it was when the show was just about over and the server brought shots. If I drink, I lose my train of thought. Right. So I'm a lightweight, I get drunk very easily. But comedy is such an interesting world because we have so many recovering addicts that are around the substance that they're staying away from, and they seem to be doing pretty well, others not. And then it's just, in general, it's a social drinking environment.
Right.
And, it's not necessarily a bad thing by any means. I mean, like I said, I wrote this book on the health benefits of moderate consumption. So depending on the country, the US, I believe their definition of moderate is at the lowest. And again, it's always lower for women than men. But it depends on the research study. When they were defining moderate, typically in the US, moderate would be 1 for women and maybe 2 for men per day. And then they were also defining it how many drinks per week too. So that was kind of a gray area when they were researching the results. So I basically just defined moderate based on the results that they were looking at and how they defined moderate in that particular study. So collectively, in the UK, it's a little bit higher. I believe it was 1.5 drinks for women and a little bit more for men. In some other countries, it was 2 drinks for women per day and then a couple, like 3 or 4 for men. So it's like a lot higher in different countries.
Do you think culture affects that though? Because as Latins, and by the way, I know, surprise if you didn't know I'm Latin. But Anna's also Latin. Anna's also Latin. But for Latinos, culturally, and maybe this is just my family. Okay, that's a lie. I know a lot of Latino families. They like to drink, bro.
Yes.
They
Super
drink
cultural.
at toddler birthday
and smoke
parties.
cigarettes too. It's very cultural.
Yeah, cigarettes are a big thing. I would say they've gotten better though with the cigarettes, but the alcohol is still,
of course,
numero uno. That kind of it's always going to be a bar at a party, and that's even a 1-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. I in terms of, I know in Spain, it's so cultural to drink. And I don't necessarily think that means that they're going to benefit more from alcohol by any means.
Right,
I just think that
may not be a correlation.
I just think in research, they are using that as a standard to measure whether or not that quantity of alcohol exerts any health benefits.
Okay.
And I think that some countries may be aiming to get that as higher, or they're looking at what is more culturally the norm for them and seeing if that is going to exert any health benefits.
I mean, and at the end of the day, it's not that far off from each other.
Yeah,
it's a couple
relative,
drinks or so, but it's not that far off. I mean, I would assume most Americans would like to have the higher end.
Yeah. I think in one study, I think they define moderate as 3 to 4. And again, I was looking at so many different things writing the book, and still, I'm still presenting every now and then, hopefully more. But I look at how alcohol affects hydration, bone mineral density, antioxidant capacity, which represents also your immune system and aging, hormones, specifically testosterone, because there are some benefits with alcohol increasing testosterone, but it can also decrease testosterone. So there's so many different factors to look at when you're measuring it. But the bottom line is if anybody's going to be reaping the health benefits of alcohol, they have to be healthy. So they have to have, underneath everything, they have to be a healthy individual. And that is basically defined by going to the doctor and getting blood work. So and what's your lifestyle like?
No Floridians. No, I mean.
Yeah. Like if you're smoking cigarettes, for example, you are negating all the health benefits of alcohol.
Right.
I would even say vaping as well. Marijuana, I don't.
I feel attacked right now. I feel very attacked. I'm just putting that.
Marijuana
I didn't know you were
going
to come in here and tell me. No. I was like, what about my PTSD? Okay, that's the benefactor of it.
I definitely don't judge. It's just science.
No, but I think it's really great that you have. Well, it's funny is I've had people ask me, "Is she really a doctor?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like she's not just calling herself that. Like she earned that title, dude. Like she wrote a thesis. She has publications.
Yeah.
But I also realized a lot of comics didn't go to college. They didn't finish that, which I have. But I was like, oh, they don't understand like everything I do. That's why I was like.
College sucks.
Yeah, it does. Also the debt of it. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
It kind of is because I bet you look back and you're like, I probably could have YouTubed some of this. You're like, let's watch Lex Friedman. He'll figure it out for us. He seems like a really smart physicist. But yeah, no, I find that interesting. So you said though, I want to go back to the comedy thing. What got you into comedy? Because you said. You listen to Howard Stern. Now, I listen to a lot of Howard Stern. I've never asked you your age. Like, do you mind me asking your age?
No, I'm 39.
Oh, okay. So we're the same age. That makes so much more sense now. Yeah. I was like, well, you look better than I do. So
Stop. I don't compare. The only thing, and when I do give these seminars too, I'm a huge advocate of not getting sun on the face. No cigarettes. Just be a total fucking vampire. Just
right.
I have a Lost Boys shirt on right now.
Well, I have people all the time, or when they find out my age, especially being light skinned, they're like, "What'd you done?" I was like, "Sunblock, bro, and lotion."
It really, really helps. Yeah.
Lotion, water,
being Latin
sunblock
American helps too.
My mom's darker, bro. Like I didn't get her melanin, and it kind of sucks. But no, but it's true. But I mean, as Latins, when it comes to what was I saying? I was gonna relate it. No, I wasn't remembering. Oh, yeah. Howard Stern. Yeah. That's what I was trying to. So, like, who listened to Howard Stern in your family? Because you were still young, right? When you were listening to him? You must have been really young.
Nobody listened to him. I was super young. And the thing is, I grew up on MTV back when the real world was legit and interesting.
Right. Well, we had Pedro
Zamora.
And I went to McMillan Middle School, bro.
Is that where he went?
Well, they put a whole road called Pedro Zamora Way over there.
Yeah, we had a whole thing. Yeah. That guy 90s, was a true icon, man. That guy had AIDS super young in his 20s. And instead of being like, woe is me, he went out there and fucking taught people about AIDS. And I think that growing up with that real world taught us so much than these fucking dumb kids are learning today. Like these kids are idiots, man.
That's not gonna
they don't learn shit. Like we learned real deal shit about like AIDS and drugs and all that. And I think it really was important for us to learn that. But I watched Howard Stern when he was on the E channel.
Oh, okay. So I grew up with Howard Stern in the 80s when he was just on K-Rock. He
was so different back then.
I feel like he was the same in some ways, but he has toned down so much. I was just curious, like, how you think that affected you as a woman, though, because, like, I think he's hilarious, by the way. But also, I also know I was a very young girl who probably shouldn't have been listening to him. Do you know what I mean?
After he married Beth, he definitely toned down his misogyny.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's all part of his act. I mean, my act in comedy is pretty perverted, and I mean, I'll be on stage and, once in a while or almost every show, I may say that I'm going to finger some girl in the audience. And it's funny because I can get away with it.
Right.
But I have never, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I have never been attracted to any girl that I was like, I'm going to finger you. Not that she's not beautiful, but it's just part of the act and they don't know. And I get off stage and I'm like, hey, thank you for letting me mess with you. And they're like, oh, I thought you were going to like say more to me. I'm like, it's just an act.
Yeah.
I'm not into you.
You just helped me with my bit. That's all that was.
You were there, you said something.
You were smiling and I thought you were welcoming.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things I know that Howard Stern was doing for sure, even back then. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't into, I mean, I don't know, it's different because dudes they aren't really picky. But for me growing up,
I don't think they're that self-aware either though.
No. And I feel like growing up Howard Stern, how that affected me, I think I come from a different perspective because like from age of birth to age 20, I identified as male in my brain. Okay. Unknowingly. I didn't know. And I couldn't.
No, I know what you mean by that.
I couldn't put this into words until a couple years ago. I was like, oh shit. I didn't, you don't know. It's confusing. And I write bits on it and stuff. And then when I moved to Miami, I was like, oh, I knew that I always liked girls. But it was, especially being, when we were growing up, it wasn't so popularized. Whereas now, if you're 12 and you're like, I identify as a dude, they're injecting you with testosterone, which I have to say, a little too young. You got to let the brain evolve because I'm glad I wasn't injected with testosterone when I was that age because I'm really happy where I'm at. And everybody's different. I mean, don't get me wrong. They may want to transition and that's totally great. I think that's fantastic that we have a more welcome world.
Right, of course. I agree with you on that. I mean, my daughter, she identified as transgender a few years ago. They call it dysgendering when they actually go back to their biological gender.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. But it's because I gave her room to do whatever. Like if she wanted to dress whatever way. And I mean, but the one thing I told her is like, I want you to wait to take any hormonal treatment. But I also went to nursing school, so I knew the science behind it. Yeah. And testosterone does a lot of damage to a woman's body, a biological woman's body.
There's no turning back.
Right. There's no turning back with testosterone. The side effects are
irreversible. So you want to make sure that they're making the right decision because like I said, and I'm not saying this because I'm against anybody transitioning at a young age. I think it is a beautiful thing that if you can get into your comfortable skin, the younger the better. But I do, for me as an example, I'm glad that I didn't because it took me, but like you said, give them room. Because when I was younger, it was very, especially in the Latin world, looked down upon for a girl to dress as a boy.
Listen, my mom hated us in Jankos. Like she was like, tú es no un hombre, tú es un hombre. And I'm like, what does that even mean, dude? Yeah. Like, but that means also for my non-Latin speaking, that just means, are you a dude? Are you a dude? Are you a guy? Yeah, anyway.
It was very looked down upon to be a masculine woman, and
they were homophobic too. Yeah. It's part of the Catholic religion and stuff like that. It was.
And I actually ran into a very good friend of mine. He's a trans man. Mm-hmm. He's he now, and I met him before the transition years ago. We're both the same age. And it was funny because we both.
Chris Olivia? I mean, I was like, is it Chris?
He's a really cool dude down in Miami, and I ran into him the other day, and it's funny because we both kind of like evolved. I mean, he did a full transition, whereas me, I'm happy where I'm at. And he and I both, we laugh. We're like, we both used to wear skirts, when we didn't want to. So at age 20, around 21, I was like, well, I like girls. I want to date girls, and in Miami specifically, but this happens all over. I mean, lesbians, feminine lesbians with feminine lesbians is a thing. It's a very widespread, popular thing. Some people always think there's got to be a butch girl with a feminine girl. No. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I love seeing butch girls with butch girls. I love seeing anything that like defies the norm or the stereotype. But in Miami, very typical to see two feminine girls together. So I was like, well, I have to be feminine if I want to get girls. So I became feminine. I learned how to do it. And I got lots of pussy because of it,
Well, you're beautiful. I mean, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
But you're beautiful anywhere you dress. But I get it. But it's just funny that like that's how you picked up.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I'm going to do makeup. I'm going to do my hair. I was super girl. I wear heels. And I felt like how the dudes in my drag comedy show feel. I felt
like you were playing a role.
Walking, like I was playing a role, but I was playing a role for pussy. I mean,
and then at least you had some motivation.
I mean, the lesbians, they sorry, I shouldn't have touched my mic.
No, you're fine.
The lesbians loved it. I was a commodity there and it was pretty fantastic. But then I was also doing it to get corporate gigs and get work, and that worked. And then one day, like in my very early 30s, I was like, fuck this. I stopped doing my eyebrows. I have a fucking unibrow. and I just became my natural self. I started getting hand tattoos.
Yeah.
This is all I have so far. I just got my first leg tattoo the other day. But I was like, I'm not going to do this shit anymore. So
yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Really. That's where I'm at now too. Cause I get, especially for my family, they're like, you got more tattoos. I'm like, yeah, I don't care anymore.
Who cares?
I don't care. I'm out of corporate America.
They're cool as fuck.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm more happy being myself, even though I'm getting paid like $15 an hour, not the 40 I was. I mean, it's a little painful, just a little painful.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, I'm happier mentally and emotionally than I ever was in that position, even though I was making more money. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm also lucky I have a partner, like we can work it out, whatever that is, you know, not everybody has that, but no, for sure. The identify, like being who you are and not like literally I just saw my siblings and like, I was the only one of my siblings in front of my dad being like, I'm an adult, like setting a boundary. And they're like looking at me like, I can't believe you said that to dad. And I'm like, why not? I'm almost 40, literally in a couple months. Like, I mean, what do you mean? I also have a 20-year-old kid. She'll be 20 in a couple months too. So it's like, at what point are we going to set boundaries and be like, this is who I am. Are you going to love me or not? And
luckily in the comedy world, there's not really much of an issue. But the one thing I do feel bad about, because I was asked the other day, I was doing an interview and it was like, well, how is it in the comedy world as a female? And I said, I have to be honest with you, and I feel bad for saying this, but when I first started comedy, I experienced a lot of like the creepy dudes that want to talk to you after the shows and shit. But now as me, I don't have a hard time because I'm very bro-y. Which I'm sure you probably get some of, you know, because you're not exactly the most, but
I get it on both ends.
Yeah. So me, I don't really deal with that too much. On a very minimal scale, do I deal with dudes who don't like me because I'm a girl or don't want to book me, but it's very minimal, or treat me a certain way. For the most part, men in the comedy world treat me like a man. So it's different for me.
I don't get that though. I mean, like I used to hear before I was doing it often, you know, the other female comics complain about certain things, and I didn't see it as much, but I do see what they were saying. I mean, I don't think though they intentionally do it. Like, I don't think it's like a conscious thought, like where they're going to treat us different. I just think they do. You know, and I don't think it's intentional. I just think that it's something they have to consciously work on themselves. But like, who am I to go up to them and be like, hey, you should be like, at the end of the day too, like it depends on the show, right? Like if they find, I'm not going to compare myself to a comic who has, 30 minutes and they've been touring or have so many showcases under my belt. But at the same time, I'm not given an opportunity either. So it's like, but I get that they're talented and this and that, but also not asked. So it's like, it's like what you said, you can't really build experience if you don't get it, if you don't get the opportunities. So it's like, it's one of those things. But Sarah Silverman said it best though. She said,
I love her.
Yeah, I love her too. She said it best. She goes, who the fuck cares what you are?
Yeah.
She goes, if you're good, you're good. If you're great, you're great. She goes, just keep doing that.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong because nobody can deny if you're fucking good. And
that's all that matters. That's all I see in the comedy world. That's all I give a shit about. But I'm not going to lie, because of my drag show, I do get a lot of straight men to dress as women. So I think what I'm doing is like a big service to the industry.
I think you are though.
I'm doing a big, I'm doing the Lord's work, I should say. But I got to say, I also book gay comics. I book trans comics. It just addresses the opposite of what you identify as. And, I'll book typically one female. She dresses as a dude. I dress as a dude. I probably should be dressing as a dude and also as a girl if I want to make it fair. But it's just such a beautiful thing. And these guys that do the show, some of these guys get into an element that I've never seen them in their regular attire on stage. I have a comic who I adore in South Florida. His name is Rob Caller. Military guy, super heterosexual.
Right.
Not an ounce of gay in him. He dresses in drag and he is like on another level. He's in his true element. And he did my drag show in Miami Improv.
Baby. That's a drag queen.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, like some of these guys, and they want to do it again and again and again. And I adore that because sometimes I go to cities. I was just booking a show in New Hope, Pennsylvania, and I was actually in touch with KP Burke about that.
Okay.
But he's busy on the night that he's doing it because it's hard for his work schedule. But This was a hard city for me to book because guys are like, I'm not really comfortable with it. And I'm like, you fucking pussies. But, it's hard in some places because they may not feel particularly comfortable with it.
Right.
They may feel like there may be a stigma with it. Maybe it's going to ruin their comedy career. But other than that, every other city I've done it, and I've done it in New Orleans, Orlando, West Palm Beach, Miami. I did St. Pete. I feel like the gayer the city, the lamer the crowd is. I don't like to do my show at gay bars. I like to do it. It's a very bro-y show for everybody. It's for gays, straights. It's for everybody.
Right.
Because a lot of times I'll pitch the show to a city and I'm like, hey, I'm coming to the city. I want to do a show. Like, oh, we have a drag brunch here. I go, it's not the same as my show.
These are not the same.
And then Gainesville. I had an issue with Gainesville. Lovely girl there. She basically runs all the comedy stuff there. And she's so transparent and a fantastic person. And she filled me in that somebody was bitching that I don't have drag queens on the show. And I was like, well, I would like to know who that person is. And she didn't tell me because she's a fair person. But I was like, this show is not drag queens doing comedy. It is comedians in drag doing comedy. That's why it's a novelty show. Jeff Klein in Tampa runs a show where he has comedians competing against drag queens. It's a phenomenal idea.
Right.
Beautiful. Go do that show if you guys want drag queens.
Right.
My show does not involve drag queens. Unless it was a drag queen that's been doing comedy, I will not book the comic. It's just about booking strong comics who are willing to get out of their comfort zone or in their element, whatever it is, and do the show.
Listen, I saw Christian Blaker do your show,
Holy
and I swear
shit.
he dropped it. I thought his sack was gonna fall out,
Dude,
bro.
Christian Blaker did not talk, and I love him for that. I was like, dude,
he didn't talk,
yeah.
dude. I saw that video, and I just sent him messages and he's like, I thought I'd win with that drop, and I was like, nah, I thought you would too, dude. Especially he was in heels, like good for him, and
Dude. Christian Blaker is a phenomenal writer. He's a very strong comic. He's fairly new, and he is just such a great comic. And he went up there with material just for the show, which I see. This is the stuff that. This is why I love doing this show. This is the stuff that hits me in my heart when I see comics do this, and I go, "Wow!" You know what I mean?
Like they took the effort to write for, and not
the
their
effort that they
stuff,
put in it. Yeah, and I don't mind if they do their old stuff.
Right,
if they do something, if they do something to embellish it or whatever they want, make it flamboyant, whatever. I don't care. I leave it up to the comic to make that decision. It's funny because when I recruit comics, not Christian or any of these other comics, but in other places they're like, oh, are you providing wardrobe? Are you gonna do my makeup? I said, go fuck yourself. I can't even do my own makeup. What the fuck are you thinking? This is a one-man show.
That's so funny.
Like prima donnas. You're like, are you gonna do my wardrobe? Like, no.
What are you, bitch, have you been on Comedy Central? What are you talking about? Get out of my face.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fucking what do you got, trailer, and you go in there and you have your fucking caviar, you asshole.
Oh my God.
So
dude.
not yet, but eventually, yes, I will have a trailer for the show. Maybe there'll be options for wardrobe, but no, the goal is to get a bigger budget for the show, to get it sponsored so that the comics can get even more money, because they do get paid in tips, and they did really well in St. Augustine.
Oh, great.
The one that Christian Blaker was on. But Christian Blaker, it's so funny because I've seen a lot on the show. I've seen testicles come out. I've seen labia come out.
Sure. I'll have to duct tape mine down.
Okay. I mean, because the thing is, they're having fun. It's just a wild show. Yeah,
they're in the moment.
So Christian Blaker, I go, man, you know what, Christian? I rarely notice genitals, because when I'm hosting the show, I'm running around timing. I need to make sure the show runs smoothly, because sometimes I'm working the door of music. I'm also making sure these comics are where they're supposed to be, what song is they're going to be doing. Everything. I mean, I'm doing this all on my own, and I love it. Sometimes I have help with music, which I love. But I was like, Christian, I noticed your fucking dick the whole time.
Yeah, dude.
I have a video of me talking about it. I'll have to post it. I have to post all these recaps. I'm like, I noticed your dick the whole fucking time. I go, you're the first comic, I think, because again, I don't notice, but because he's wearing this like one piece thing, I'm like, you're the first comic I've ever noticed
hot
that.
Pink or something.
It was like maroon, or it was glittery.
Something shiny. Yeah,
beautiful,
something shiny.
Beautiful top. I mean, he was wearing heels. He looked like a fucking.
He got his girlfriend's clothes.
Yeah, not his shoes, not the shoes.
Or maybe
though.
his sisters with somebody.
Yeah. I even asked his girlfriend. I always, when comics are there and they're dressed in drag, I always ask the girlfriend or the wife. I'll be like, "Are you gonna fuck this comic tonight?" A lot of times, yes. Sometimes, no. They're like, "I'm not into this." But yeah, he didn't talk. And I'm like, I think, but maybe next time he'll put in the offer, or maybe not. Maybe that's why they got so many tips that night.
Maybe.
But that St. Augustine show, I was really, really happy to do. And can we talk some Chief Man? Can we do some gauze, whatever? So the thing is, a couple things. I did have girls flashing their tits at the St. Augustine show.
Oh, really?
That was incredible. Really awesome women were there. They were flashing their tits. Some were flashing their bras. But what I really loved about it is that show was at Paper Route.
Right.
The owner is a phenomenal guy, really sweet guy. I had just met him.
They have pretty cool clothes too. Their shirts are really cool.
And it's a printing store. I highly recommend anybody in St. Augustine to go down to Paper Route for the clothing store, just the ambiance, and when they have comedy shows there, and to get any printing stuff done. But yeah, really cool stuff. For St. Augustine, you're like, wow, this is like really advanced and just incredible. You'd think it was in another city.
Right.
But the owner used to book a show down there with a comedy couple that I couldn't ever get on the show. And I guess they broke up. So like the show didn't happen anymore.
I know this couple, yeah.
So it was kind of like.
I love them too.
You do? You love them?
I
don't
love
know
them both individually and together. But yeah.
So what I love is that I was told by the owner, he goes, and another staff, they're like, we've been doing comedy here for 5 years and we've never had girls flash their tits. So whatever you're doing is incredible. And we don't know how we're going to go back to doing regular comedy here. So that also is like very nice to hear. So
it's
really
like, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no tits were flashed at their shows. I will guarantee I've been to a couple of their shows when they had them. Yeah, actually I should probably reach out to those people because I haven't seen them do comedy.
But I know whoever's going to take over that room is going to do a good job. So I'm happy for it.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's doing their room.
Hopefully somebody does. I hope the right person.
They have an awesome setup. Like it's a pretty straight setup.
So
and the
beautiful.
lighting, and do they still have the couches on the side that you can sit in? Like they move it aside?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I got in a lazy boy. I was lucky. I found a lazy boy, and I was like, I ain't doing that fold out chair.
Yeah. Paper Route has popcorn, and they serve they have a pretty decent selection of alcohol there, and it's just one of the most beautiful rooms I've ever seen.
Yeah, the ambiance is really nice there. Yeah, it's always fun whenever I've been there.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes I feel like it's a drive, but then I'm like, what am I talking about? I need to drive and do open mics
45
in
minutes.
Orlando and Daytona. Really, when you look at it, you're like, that's not really a drive.
But I loved it. I fell in love with the owner, and I was really happy to have done it there. It was an honor. So I would love to do it in Jacksonville. I just feel like Jacksonville's a little weird. I pitched it to Voussoir, but I guess the owner's a little bit homophobic or not into that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
He probably maybe didn't understand.
A lot of times people don't understand, but I was speaking to his marketing person who's a girl, so maybe she didn't understand. But it would have done really, really well.
We'll talk off camera because I have a feeling. Okay, we'll talk off camera.
Okay.
We'll talk off camera about that because I was like, marketing. Okay, well, I know the owner Lewis, and he always calls me his DJ when I show up for them.
Okay.
He'll put money in, and he's like, your money's there. Go play some songs or whatever. Lewis is pretty awesome dude. Yeah, Voussoir's I love Voussoir. He always tells me to.
Love Voussoir.
I don't know why, but that room I kill all the time.
It's a beautiful fucking room. It's a really good place to try stuff out. I may do it tomorrow night. It's a great place to try stuff out. And they have a lot of non-comedians there, which helps.
Yes. That's another thing. Their audience is great because that's the feedback I need, not from the other. I love the other comics' feedback, but I need to know if this is actually going to hit.
Yeah. Atlantic Beach is like really a cool area where people come out and they really are a good audience.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fun. They're interesting. There have been Staples hecklers recently though at that place. So we'll see. Cool. That's one of the ones I was talking about earlier. One of the new comics to the scene.
I mean, we've got a bunch of assholes that step on stage and think they can do comedy, you know? Like, I've dealt with some hecklers that were like, I could do that. And then usually I just want to punch them in the mouth, but I don't really have any anger. So I'm like, go up there and fucking do it then, you know?
God. I mean, I want to be motivational, but sometimes I'm just like, you're really drunk right now. Can you think about this when you sober up?
I always tell people right off the bat, I'm like, if you want to do comedy, go up there sober.
Yeah.
The first time, the second time, the 500th time, just go up there sober, be clear-headed. That's just my advice. You know, people can do whatever they want. But it's just because you got to go up there. You got to get over that fear. You got to you can't be in your head. You have to be like present and aware of everything going on because it's a wild west. You're going to go up there. There's going to be someone saying some shit too. There might be girls flashing your tits. You need to be ready for that. You need
to have your phone out. Okay. Yeah. Take them pictures out.
I did. I made the people at Paper Route really happy with that. I don't know how I got them to do that. The tits.
I don't know either, but I would have loved to have been there. I think I was out of town or something because I remember when you were going to have that. I was like, fuck, I can't make it. No, because it's always fun. I always like watching, especially the hetero male comics who you never get to really see do that. But I love watching them enjoy it, like really be in it, because it also shows me how good of people they are. They're not homophobic. Like they're just like enjoying the moment, and they're
comfortable in their sexuality. And I'm not going to put down everybody who wouldn't do my show, because there are people that won't do it. And I'm like, I get it. I don't want to wear girl clothes ever again. So I understand to some degree, but these guys that
there
do
may be those issues. Yeah, I get that.
But these guys that do it, you can tell they're so secure with their sexuality, their everything. And I remember I did the show in Charleston a couple years ago, which I'm actually doing Charleston again this Saturday. I'm doing the Sparrow in North Charleston, with a really fun lineup.
Well, let's say this Saturday. What date is that? Because
March 5th.
Okay, so this will probably come out a few weeks after that.
Oh, okay,
probably,
that's fine.
Yeah.
A few weeks after, April 19th, I'm in New Hope, Pennsylvania, on a Tuesday night at John and Peters.
April 19th, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good show.
Okay.
That's a very cool, beautiful town. I'm trying to get it at venues up in New Jersey and bring it up north, but but back to Charleston, a lot of the guys went out after doing the drag show, and they went out to the bar still in drag. They got lots of pussy that night. Like that's like girls. Like, and I got to say this, like, I don't like dudes like that. Like, I love dudes as bros, you know? Like, I get along with men really, really well. But when I go out in a beer, dudes like that too. It's fucking weird. I'm like, I just want to give advice to straight women out there. Like, if you want to get
dress up like a man,
if you want to get a dude, fucking let this unibrow and they love that shit, man. I don't know like what's going on in this world, but these girls with the fake eyelashes and all this bullshit and doing makeup and all this fancy shit. You're doing it all wrong, because I go out there and guys they like the muscles.
Yeah,
and all
but
this bullshit.
You still look pretty hot as a dude. You put a little stash on, get your little hat on, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I think I was realizing that the other day. I'm like, I do make a really handsome guy.
Yeah.
I do. And
I actually do. When I put that filter on, I was like, I look like my cousins. My cousins are handsome dudes. And I was like, all right. You know, with that stupid TikTok, they're like, if you don't like yourself as the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am pretty hot as
Yeah, it's nice. And like, it's funny because like, I have like trans dude friends that are like, man, you look good as a dude. Like, you know, like they look good as dudes and like, yeah, man, you look good.
Yeah,
man. You should grow out the real mustache. I'm like, I'm trying.
It's so funny. But okay, so we're going to get to the point of my podcast where I always ask the comics, do you believe in paranormal? And when I say paranormal stuff, that could be, exactly. That could be, okay. Like
ghosts?
That could
Is this like the whole point of the podcast?
No, it's not the whole point. I just always like, no, you're like, what is this about?
I love ghosts. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look, I have a 666 and magic tattooed on my finger. Like, this is great.
Oh, okay. So it's not the whole point, but I like getting comics' points of view of it because, first off, a good comic is a great storyteller.
Yeah.
But also, it kind of gives me insight to your belief system in a way and like how you maneuver through the world. So it's like, so paranormal could be anything from like ghosts to aliens, you know?
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I would totally fuck an alien if that's what you're trying to get at. I would totally like, she has like small boobs, you know, like totally do it. Yeah. Like,
what if she's like Barbie and there's nothing there? There's no slit. Like you can't even.
No slit.
Is that wrong? I shouldn't have said that. This is how you know I'm raised by men.
I feel like you go down to Miami, those girls with all the plastic surgery they're fucking getting, these fucking girls,
they're probably bad now?
It's so bad. Like, I don't know what it is with these girls getting all these lip injections and fillers. Like, I just don't know what's happening to natural beauty that we would see in the 80s and the 70s, 50s. I mean, like, girls were so hot back then. They were just naturally beautiful.
Full bushes too. Full bushes.
I would take a full bush because that can be shaved over a girl who's fucking injected so much shit into her fucking face. But paranormal, actually, that leans into the reason why I don't do drugs. So I've never done drugs.
Okay.
And I think one of the reasons is because I feel like I'm tapped into like other things. Like as a comedian, I drive late at night, and you know like how 3 a.m. is the witching hour?
Yes.
Best hour to masturbate, by the way. But no, I believe that I can sense things, hear things. Sometimes I'll be in complete quiet, and at that hour, not any other hour of the day, I can hear music when I'm in complete silence. And this is why I don't do drugs. I don't do anything because I feel and see things, and I feel very connected to things. And I can't say that I'm a medium or I'm this but but I truly believe in not escaping the world because I never want to cloud that. And
I'm going to say right now, you're clairsentient.
What does that mean?
You're basically, you hear things.
Yeah. And I feel things too.
Yeah.
And I can feel other people's energy. Not everybody, but I feel like certain people have, I was hanging out with some friends of mine the other day. She was saying that some people have certain magnets in them and the magnets are active or not active, or, I think there's just certain energies that we can't see that I truly believe in. And I'm not a hippie by any means. And like I said, I've never done drugs. But I'm like, I think that's the reason I just have this thing. And I walk, like, for example, downtown Jacksonville or something like that, or even Miami. I'm obsessed with old Miami. I feel like I can walk around things and I look at things and I think, oh, what was that like, decades ago?
Right.
Or like when I do comedy, I'll see older people, which by the way, are usually the most intimidating people. And this has nothing to do with paranormal because they're alive.
Right.
But I have older people in my crowd and I'll look at them and I go, fuck, older people of all races always intimidate me in comedy. And then for some reason, they're my best demographic for comedy.
I know. What is that? I feel the same way.
I'll tell you what it is. You have to look at them and not see the gray hair, the aging.
Yeah, they were once young.
You have to look at them at how they were in the 70s, the 80s. They are still in that body.
Right.
They're still in that mindset. And that's what I do is immediately when I go on stage and I'm like, oh shit, these older people are laughing at this. It's because and then I see them in a different light. I see the younger version of themselves and who they were. But I do believe in ghosts. But
have you had any other experiences besides being like sensitive or anything? Did you have anything that you were like, oh shit, like that?
I have a lot of like serendipitous things happens, like signs and things like that.
Like deja vu, where you're like, oh.
Just things, signs. I also see a lot of hearts. This is weird, but I see hearts, leaves, rocks, weird shit shaped like hearts. That's not paranormal, but
no, but I mean, it's something that you're recognizing as a pattern in your existence or what you're experiencing.
I had a grandmother who I was very close with who passed away. I feel things from her sometimes.
Oh, I miss my abuelita.
Yeah, so I was really, really close with her. So I don't know. I would love to have sex with a ghost if we're getting on that again. I would totally love it.
Have you ever had a dream that you were having sex with somebody in your dream? Or
girls get morning wood, by the way, just so you know.
Well, no, here's a rewind. No, I'm sure
physiologically.
We do. I'm just saying, like, I rewind because I started writing a joke about this. I had a dream that I was a dude having sex with a woman, and just before I stuck it in her, I woke up.
Okay.
And I was like, is this how guys feel? Like, where
you didn't get her pregnant.
Yeah, right? I was literally about to fuck her over a hay bale, like in a barn somewhere.
Hay bale?
Hay bale in a barn, dude. I don't know. It looked like the 1930s or something. Yeah, no, God, that sounds horrible. But fucking Middleburg.
Yeah, I have a lot of sex dreams, but that can also relate to hormones, just so you know. Just not to be boring sciencey,
No. Yeah, I know.
The clitoris does get erect, just like the male genitalia does.
You can get fat, guys. No, okay.
So I get dreams all the time, and I guess it's not really morning. Well, for me, it's morning wood because I go to bed at like 4 a.m, but girls get evening wood just like guys get, erections at night.
No, I was just curious if you ever had a dream. Like, I've had weird dreams, like where I met my family and they're all black, but I don't know any of these people, but I know them as my family. I say this a lot, it seems like, to people. It's just an example of, like, I've had weird dreams where I talk to my spirit guides.
Yeah.
Like, I had a dream. Okay, I should tell you. I have a dream where this one particular guy, I would see him in the distance all the time and he'd smile or wave to me, but I would just be like, and keep going in my dream. And then one time he actually got close enough and started talking to me and he's like, I've been trying to talk to you.
Oh shit.
So think about that. And he told me he was my spirit guide or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is a dream, obviously. I can't say whether this is definitive or not. This is just my own imagination and I'm not schizophrenic. Anyway, but no, seriously. But like, your brain works in weird ways. So
it does, yeah. It's a weird way of subconscious and sometimes things that may be becoming reality, or sometimes your subconscious knows things that may be forming into reality. But again, not my area of expertise, but I do believe that certain people are capable of seeing things that others can't. And that's why you have a very generic portion of the population, which I call sheep, that just like the same music everybody else, do the same things everybody else, do this. Those people can't tap into the things that people like you and I can potentially tap into because their mind is very shallow. It's very shallow. And sometimes they do need drugs to see these things. And even then what they're seeing is not even exist. It's just it's bullshit.
Right.
So I feel like, you have to have a deeper level of being conscious and intelligence and those types of things that can see things that other people can't see. So that's just what
I feel like all of us are probably sensitive in ways we don't understand.
Yeah.
Like some universal knowledge we lost or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, well.
Or past life.
Yeah. Well, do you believe in past life stuff?
I definitely was a pirate in a past life. I was going to different villages and fucking girls. Like
you definitely were.
Yeah. And then I remember a couple years ago, I had girlfriends in different cities. It was just great. I would do comedy there. Yeah, it was like, back in the pirate life, it was usually the governor's daughter. She was wearing a big bustier and shit. And then now it was usually not, nowadays it's like the general manager of Rooms to Go's daughter, so it's not that prestigious, but I did for a long time have that I'm going to be in this town, and I had a girl in different cities.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my best friend. She did the same thing.
Yeah.
I told you kind of though about it.
Going to the port.
I don't blame though. Like when you're young, like I had a kid young, so I wasn't like able to have that much fun, but if you're single and you're having fun, like have at it,
It wasn't always quality, but it was a good time, and it gave you a free place to stay. So, but now in my life, I'm like, I like quality over quantity.
Versus quantity.
So,
yeah. Of course, I feel like that's just when we get older, we're like, I don't want to waste my time.
I mean, I wanted quality back then too, but I wasn't sifting. I was just taking all the sludge. I was not sifting at all. I was just like, I wanted quality. I mean, I've always been a romantic. I play guitar. I play these like gay ass romantic songs. I love Spanish poetry.
Right. So, Pablo Neruda, you're into him?
I actually don't know any of the names. I just follow.
He's Chilean. He's a Chilean author.
Yeah.
He's a poet. He's from Chile. And
Jose Marti, he's Cuban. His poetry. I don't know a lot of like the authors, but I follow a lot of Spanish poetry on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So I do like that.
Maybe I need to get into that. I did see you post one. You did post something one time, and I was like, oh, look at her.
I know. I may be like a total perverted comic, but I do have a romantic side, and I just love poetry. I love animals. I think I love old people. I think like comics really do have a soft spot.
I think they're super sensitive, actually. I have a theory that they're overly sensitive, some of them.
Yeah, probably. I'd say
that's why they compensate.
Good hearts. I'd say in general, like in the comedy world, there's a lot of good hearts. There's a lot of assholes. I know because, like I said, dudes in the comedy world talk to me like a dude.
Right.
And I will say that there are definitely comedy guys that are like, they're telling me and all the other guys about all the pussy they're getting, and if they're fucking female comics and shit. But the majority, I mean, that doesn't mean that they're just fucking around. They're doing what they do. I always say, be honest. If you're going to be fucking around, you're going to have multiple partners. Just tell the person up front.
Yeah.
Because I do believe, again, talking about paranormal and things like that, like juju and karma and things like that. When you deceive somebody and you do all those things, karma is a true fucking thing.
I think it's a bitch. I think karma's a bitch.
It's beautiful and it's a bitch because if you're the one that's like, oh, I got fucked over, karma's beautiful. But I've also been on the other end where I'm like, damn, man, I know that happened to me years ago because I used to be a fucking asshole. And you learn how to have a, make sure you have a good soul, a good heart and things like that. But you got to learn that shit really young. Like,
yeah, or go to therapy. Figure it out.
That too. Yeah. If you have trauma and you're a fucking asshole because of it, like you got to learn.
But we're almost at the end, Anna. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to share anything you want, where you're going to be at, your merch. No, she has pretty amazing fucking merch.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, please share it with us. Okay, so Marshall, this will probably come out, in a few weeks? I can't remember. Like 4 weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. We have so many episodes backed up.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But
the merch will still be around.
Yeah, well, the merch will, but like, where are you going to be in like April, May? Do you have anything in May? I don't know.
Yeah, so I can tell you now. So April 19th, I will be in New Hope, Pennsylvania. It's a Tuesday night, but it's at a place called John and Peter's, which is a really cool music venue. New Hope is a beautiful, picturesque town right across the Delaware River from New Jersey.
Yeah,
it's very New Jersey.
Yeah.
Steve Lamb, a really funny West Palm Beach comic, used to go there a lot growing up. And I'm going to be doing my Comedians in Drag Doing Comedy show at Pensacola Pride the Memorial Day weekend. That Sunday.
Fun.
Yeah, I'm actually looking to get it sponsored. So if anybody wants to sponsor it, I will totally plug whatever it is that you have. I'm trying to get the drag show sponsored in general, but I'm trying to bring it to currently right now, because we are in late February, I'm trying to book the drag show in the Northeast.
Okay.
So again, I'm seeing those obstacles. We're like, well, here's a gay bar. And I'm like, it's not a gay show. It's a fucking everybody show. So I have that so far. And I do post all my tour dates on my Instagram.
Sure, Instagram.
Just DR_LEPELEY. Well, they write this out at the bottom.
Yeah, he'll have it all.
Thank you.
It'll be all down at the bottom.
Yeah, that's fancy. DR_LEPELEY.
And we'll tag her in every post. So just follow.
Thank you. And then I will have this merch with me. I will have my book, of course, on
and if you're in South Florida and you happen to look down at a sidewalk, you may see some of these sayings, and now you're going to know where they come from.
I fucking graffitied Wickwood in front of cops. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I saw a picture and I was like, is that a police officer around the corner?
I don't give a fuck.
I know. I was like, isn't she going to get in trouble because they tag you? And I'm like, damn, Anna's really pushing the limits here.
My name, I mean, like, my Instagram handle is my last name.
On there, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of graffiti there, and it's like an alias or something. You know what I mean? It's like some sort of name, and mine is my fucking name. Yeah. That's why I don't do it anywhere else. But I do it in Wynwood. But you just got to make sure it's not like a super fresh sidewalk, because then, like, who knows? But
they may complain
if there's graffiti everywhere else, I do it. But yeah, I graffiti these two messages, and I always have a huge box of T-shirts in my trunk. I don't know.
Yeah, just hold it right there. That's perfect.
Live, laugh, lick, pussy.
Can you see it, Marshall? Perfect.
So I always, I have small, medium, large pussy. I have all the size pussy, whatever size pussy you like. I have brown pussy, yellow pussy, red pussy. And I have it up to size 2XL, but in my next order, I'm gonna start carrying 3XL, because 2XL is very popular and 3XL is a popular size.
Of course they are.
And then I have
only in the Florida. No, okay.
Yeah, Texas. No. I mean, I have no judgment.
Oh, this one is hilarious too.
2 fingers, 1 is medical, 2 is magical.
Marshall, you need a shirt?
I sell all the shirts for $20, and the 2XLs, 3XLs are $25. Just because they cost me extra. It's not because I'm like hating on tall people or larger people. And also my recent venture is like the QVC channel here. Wait, there's like one way under the table. My recent latest thing, because I have a bit on it, is, after all these years of watching straight men with their girlfriends in Target, I was like, these poor guys have to buy all this stupid fucking bullshit decorations for their girlfriends. So I was like, I decided, and I have a bit about it too, to make decorative products for men. So these are throw pillows. This says, be bold, be you, bend over, bitch. Stemming from like the women's decor, where it's like, be bold, be you, dream, like stupid shit. And these guys are like subject to they have to have it, because like they're just trying to get puss. You know what I mean? I want to fuck my wife, I need to have all this fucking stupid decoration. So that's where I stepped in. And see, like, it's funny because like lesbians typically don't get along with men very well, but I get along with everybody, and like I do get along with men very well, because I'm like, I get you, I get it, I understand. Also, there was a decor that said, the beach is my happy place. In this same font, I made your butthole is my happy place. So
it's one of my favorite ones.
These are very dirty pillows, because they tour around with me, and these are my demos. So like, I've had girls, like I was out in Miami, and I had girls taking pictures with this shit like next to their ass and shit like that. And I was like, dude, thank God. like, not that I did anything with these girls, like, because they're straight girls. I'm just taking pictures, but I'm like, thank God. Like, I used to have a really jealous ex-girlfriend. She'd fucking stab these girls from like a million miles away. But these girls are like, oh my God, take a picture with my ass. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, so they're all dirty.
Guess I have to now.
Yeah, they're all.
Babe, it's for the merch. I need to make money.
Yeah, I have some good pictures. I had a girl offer me I was at a show and I had a girl offer me chocolate covered mushrooms at a show.
Oh yeah, I think I saw you post that and I was like, that's dangerous.
It's dangerous because I love candy and like if she was just like chocolate, I love chocolate. And
you
again,
tripped out without knowing.
I would have been at Miami International Airport taking a plane somewhere. You know what I mean?
No, I would have been
like, let's go. Like, but no, I get offered a lot of drugs doing comedy, a lot. It's very common.
Usually it's just started recently. People started buying me drinks after I do my sets. And
That's
I was
good.
like, that's a good step, right?
Yeah,
That's like, oh, they liked it that much. They're willing to pay money. I was like, can you just give me the $6 for a drink? Like, I'm that broke, okay? Like, just give me the $6. I don't really need another beer.
That's why I always recommend, like, if you have any merch, I always recommend that comics, like, think of a merch item or more and just fucking do it because
I have a shirt. But it's satire. I did the whole font and everything. I drew out the whole font and everything. Yeah. And I don't know if it was mostly a joke towards Alex Jones, and it says Alex Jones's daddy.
Okay. I mean, look, there's a lot of people that really appreciate Alex Jones. Whatever it is, just do it. The thing is, that's a great idea because I'm all for merch that, you know. For example, there's comics out there and I love them, but their merch is like them. Yeah. People don't want to wear that. People want to wear merch that's about them. Right. They're going to wear the t-shirt. Sure. Like if I had a shirt that was like Dr. Anna, who gives a fuck about me? This shirt, my handle's on it, but the message is for them to wear it. Right. This is all about them. And so I think that's great because people would wear that and it's got. Yeah, well, Chance wears it to work and people were like, that shirt's funny. Where'd you get it? And he's like, Vanessa made it. But you put your handle on it, right? No. You have to put your handle on it. Well, the thing is, I only did it so it was supposed to go on the shop alone. It wasn't like supposed to be just me. It was just like just selling it. But, you're probably right. Yeah, you always got to put your name on everything. I have my name on the throw pillows. Oh, well, yeah. Now I'm going to rethink about a lot of things. Put your handle or whatever it is. We got to come up with a Los Rotos thing. Yeah, he definitely got to. It's just comedy, folks. It's just comedy, folks. No, but I really appreciate you coming. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you interrupting this meat fest I've been having on my pod. I mean, I love them all. Don't get me wrong. They know I love them. I do too. I love the meat fest in Jacksonville is pretty cool. But like I said, I get along with like 99.8% of comics. Same. I do too, though. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just There's a guy here in Jacksonville that nobody likes. I don't know which one. You don't know? Which one is that? Can I say it? You can. Not the name, but he like ran a class. We can always bleep. Oh, we can bleep that out, but I do know who you're talking about. Yeah. There's that guy. I guess nobody likes him. I like him. You do? Yep. I don't know him, but he does come off as kind of a douchey guy. I think I talked to him once. I would say that that's probably just because of his background, probably like everything he does know once you actually like know him and like know what he's done. But I've never gotten that feeling from him. But he's talked to me about other stuff. But I'm usually a person that people start telling stuff to that I was like, I didn't know I was going to know this. People tell me some shit too. Yeah, or have that acknowledged. But it's more like, but I also think he's the type of guy that if you're willing to get help or want help, or look to expand yourself, like then he's the type of guy that wants you to do the work. Like, and so he probably would hold it against you if you waste his time and you don't put in the effort. But that's like most people. I'll probably never talk to him. But what I do want to see in the Jacksonville comedy community, because I really love it so much, I just want to see more rooms because the rooms that take place in Jacksonville are really good. Right. And we have so many good comics here that I just want to see like maybe a room in downtown and more established rooms. I mean, I love that, Joey Nickel has a room. I love Brian Thomas, and all the other rooms. I'm drawing a blank because I was just in
That's
Miami.
okay. There's Zach Malcolm and Dean Nimmick have Shantytown.
Yes.
Chris Buck has Rain Dogs.
Yes.
Andre has at the Justice Pub with Ian.
Is he still doing that?
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Yeah. I thought that mic's interesting. I've had some good times there.
That's a weird one. Yeah, that's a weird one, but I still like going. But I like going now more often. I think it's also because I just know them more. Like I know him and Alex better too. So it's like, and hopefully I can have them on. But Andre, he told me the other day, he actually came to Voosfire for once because we've been trying to get him to go to their mics besides hosting one.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm at my comic threshold of friends. And I was like, what are you even talking about?
How the fuck can you reach a comic threshold?
Your threshold? No, because I love him
I'm one of his friends, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
So that's me, you, and Alex. No, okay.
I think in comedy, what ends up happening is the limit. I mean, it's such a cool world where you meet so many really cool people in comedy.
Right.
That you just have an automatic connection with. It's an automatic platonic relationship, especially for me. Like it's just so cool to meet people where the genuine interest is just friends. And then there's a camaraderie. Yeah, there's a camaraderie. Genuine.
I think that's why when people are weird with me, like recently with my podcast, I've had people approach me about stuff and I'm just like, why are you talking to me now? Like kind of like thing.
Because your podcast is
because of my podcast. And I'm just like, it's kind of weird.
I only did it because you're the first girl that's ever asked me to do a podcast.
Oh, of course.
And I like you said, but when dudes ask me, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a bunch of bullshit, like every dude
Well,
has
this isn't a real studio too. I think people were initially like not sure and then they saw and they're like, oh my God, like, you really did it. It's like,
but before I knew I knew it was in a studio, I was like, I just got to figure out.
So, well, we talked about other stuff because there was another company that wanted us to be on an audio podcast that would be on their platform. So I think that was it. But we're probably still going to do something with those people too.
Cool.
But either way, man, I'm so happy you came. I really appreciate it. I know it's tough for you because you're so popular. You're so popular.
I'm not popular.
But I love you, Damo. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We appreciate it. Peace out. We'll see you next episode.
Fuck off, everybody. Good night.
You've just listened to the Los Rotos Podcast. Produced by Upside Down Creative Media.